What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. So today I'm going to talk about the war on cash. So what is the war on cash? The war on cash is the transition from cash payments to cashless payments, from a cash society to a cashless society. Every day, more and more people are sending payments directly through each other through apps like Square and Venmo, and less cash is being used. Everything is being done electronically. So today I want to do is introduce you guys to the war on cash and kind of give you some companies to look at if you believe that we will transition from a cash society to a cashless society moving forward. So the first company is Visa. Visa facilitates the transaction of money. So essentially, when you go to a store like Walmart and you make a purchase of groceries at Walmart, that money is sent from your bank to Walmart's bank, and then a piece of that money is given to Visa. So essentially, Visa makes a percentage of every transaction that's done with a Visa card. MasterCard operates the exact same way. They facilitate these transactions. So think about it. Everyone you know probably has a Visa card or a MasterCard on their bank card, and those bank cards are still linked to the online payments. So Visa and MasterCard are handling billions of dollars in transactions every day, and they're taking a cut of those transactions every day. So as far as safe investments go, I think these are two of the safest and most secure investments you can make, just because we're always going to have to pay for things, and as long as they continue to exist at the top of that industry, they will benefit from more and more people paying with bank cards. And just a side note, on a global scale, over 80% of transactions are still done in cash today. So if I was someone in Argentina and I wanted to put down a mortgage on a house, I would have to go to the bank and take out $10,000 to $20,000 in cash and make that mortgage payment. So you can imagine how difficult and how dangerous transactions can be in those countries, and why if Visa can penetrate into markets in Latin America and Africa, in the Middle East and Asia, if they can penetrate into these markets, they can make commerce a lot safer and actually continue to benefit and receive those percentages of the payments by facilitating those payments. So I think these two are a great value pick right here, with a lot of upside. With that said, I don't own any Visa or MasterCard right now because they have a current P ratio of 34 and 41 and forward P ratios of 30 and 33. So what does that mean? That means that all of this growth that I'm talking about, all of the revenues, all of those percentages of all the payments that they're getting, a lot of that, especially for the United States, a lot of that is already priced into the stock. So if you look at Visa's current price at 161 and you look at MasterCard's price of 249, the current value of these stocks is already projected on to the earnings that they will have over the course of the next 6-7 years. So as far as a lot of growth with these stocks, you're not going to see huge surges in the price, especially potentially trading into a bear market. Right now, what I'm doing is just being patient and having these two on my watch list and keeping an eye on them. Cool. So these are the two safe picks as far as the war on cash goes. But I think the picks that have more upside are on this side. The two payment platforms I talked about earlier, PayPal, Square, both facilitate person-to-person payments. So if you look at PayPal, they're priced at 109, but again, they have a current P ratio of 59 and they have a forward P of 38. And in Square's case, they're still not profitable and they have a forward P of 88. So again, I have these two payment platforms on my watch list. I'm watching them. I'm continuing to learn more about the companies, but they're definitely on my list. Again, I started to see more and more people, especially millennials, especially Gen Z people my age, ordering PayPal Venmo cards, ordering Square Cash App cards, downloading the Cash App app, downloading the PayPal app, and actually linking their Square accounts to their payment from their job and having their job pay them directly into Square. And the cool thing about both of these companies is that when the money sits in your account in PayPal and Square, it sits in float, and these companies can then use that money to invest in other things, or to invest that money into their company. While your money sits in your account, they can use it in float. And so if we both have $100 in our accounts, and my $100 isn't being used today, when your $100 is used, some of that 100 is probably my 100, but it doesn't matter because it's all sitting in PayPal and Square's accounts. So that gives them a lot of power, and that also brings me to my final point: Apple. So I've started recently using Apple Pay, and I think it's one of the coolest things ever. I mean, I don't have to really carry around a wallet anymore. I don't have to worry about losing a wallet. I can just make all my payments on my phone. So Apple Pay is huge, and Apple is set up to launch the Apple Card sometime this summer. And I think this is really where I've discovered an opportunity. If we look at Apple's current PE, they're trading at a 15 PE and a forward PE of only 15. When you compare that to the rest of these payment platforms, it's an extremely discounted rate, and the reason for that is Apple is currently involved in smack in the middle of the trade talks between China and the United States right now, so the stock is beaten down. But I think long term, if you have a long term outlook, Apple is currently filing to become a bank. So if you look at all the users that currently have iPhones, if they start banking, especially if young people, if millennials, if Gen Z start banking with Apple long term, imagine if someone has a bank account open with Apple long term for 20 or 30 years. Imagine how much money will slowly accumulate in Apple's bank. They'll be able to use that money to invest in the other things, to start issuing credit, to start issuing credit cards to people. They make money on the interest on those credit cards, and Apple becomes a bank and a technology company, but you're really only paying for Apple as the technology company right now. So Apple is again launching this Apple Card. You'll be able to get it sometime this summer, hopefully, if everything goes well. And they're actually partnering with MasterCard to do that, and Goldman Sachs. That's another stock I'm looking at for this same reason. So you have Apple partnering with MasterCard and Goldman Sachs. But I really like this combination of MasterCard and Apple, and it also makes me feel good about both Visa and MasterCard, because you see, even though Apple is moving to become its own bank and Apple is looking to issue its own card, they still need MasterCard to facilitate the transaction of payments from one bank to another bank to make that happen. So these definitely are not going away anytime soon. And Apple is going to take advantage of their services to start building out their fintech operations on the phones. So again, if you're trying to find value in the war on cash, I think if you're looking to buy a stock today, I would say Apple is probably your safest bet. You're getting a lot of value here already with the company, with the new phones coming out, and then once 5G comes out and that new iPhone cycle comes out, people are going to start getting excited about buying iPhones again, and they'll start seeing their friends with the new iPhone and saying, hey, that's really cool, I want to get that. Oh, you have the Apple Card, I want to get the Apple Card. That's just kind of how Apple products have operated over time. So again, I think at this price with this forward PE, I mean, I think that's a great deal. So again, this is the war on cash. I like all of these stocks, but it's definitely something you want to add to your watch list, get to know the companies more, and start to really think about how we're going to send and receive payments in the future. I mean, do you guys think that we will continue to use cash? Do you think we'll continue to use coins? Do you think we'll continue to write checks? Do you think we'll continue to use banks? Do you think we'll open more Chase accounts, more Bank of America accounts? Let me know what you guys think. I'm curious to know, because this will definitely impact my own investing thesis as I look to build some sort of position in the war on cash. So again, appreciate you guys watching, and as always, Godspeed.